Good evening, everybody. We are back, the Late Night on Campus, and we are live Friday, May 12th, 2017. It's that time, Donnie, hashtag LNOC on Twitter. It's the Late Night on Campus with me, the Big Man on Campus, joined as always with my co-host, Donnie Wright. Said, Donnie, it's Friday night. Baseball's on, basketball's on. We got a lot going on. How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, no complaints. Just sitting around watching some baseball, getting ready for the weekend. You know, you have the Boston Celtics and the Wizards, 69-66 at this point. You got a hockey game going on, a lot of baseball. So some interesting stuff, and we'll have a good show, and we'll talk about it, see what went on in the day, what went right, what went wrong.
Yeah, a lot going on. We will have Joe Gavassi. He would join us. Not Joe Gavassi, Joe Duffy. I'm sorry. Getting my Joes confused. Joe Duffy will join us from OffshoreInsiders.com. He's going to join us in the second half hour. We will talk about the Eastern Conference Series. We'll also discuss Spurs-Warriors, get a little baseball going as well, see where Joe's head's at with baseball so far. Joe, always a great guest, one of our favorite people. We'll chat with him in the second half hour. But first things first, Donnie, we did the show earlier today. If you're up on the chat box, we appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. And if you're new, welcome. We hope you enjoy the show. We're here to basically recap the day in sports. Our show at night is more or less a chill out time. It's like we're at a bar, Donnie. We're having a cold one.
Work's already done. Yep, everything's wrapped up.
Work's done. You just got paid. Thank God it's Friday. Let's jump into it, Donnie. What do we got going on tonight?
Yeah, good day of baseball going on. Let's talk about what we were talking about today earlier on the right side of campus when we broke down a lot of these baseball games to see what was going to work out. Interesting thing, I think everything came right on the prediction today, except for if you were, quote-unquote, a sharp gambler today, Jeff. And you know where I'm going with this game. Just finished up in Cleveland there with Cleveland and Minnesota, Santana and Tomlin in that one. A 1-0 game, both pitchers dealing in this one. We sort of scratched our head at the line thinking, why is that line, going the way it is with Cleveland? Well, you got to say Las Vegas was right on that, figuring Tomlin was going to have a good start, and wrong on Santana getting hit here. So what gave in that game, Jeff?
Yeah, this is an interesting game, Donnie, but, we talked about it, weird line. And look, Irvin Santana, another fantastic outing from him. This pitching staff was fantastic tonight, only gave up 3 hits, and Miguel Sano, first inning home run, the difference in this one. Nice job of the bullpen from the Twins. And the Indians were anemic tonight, man. They just couldn't hit. And yet another fantastic performance from Irvin Santana. A nice job from him as the Twins get the money and they cash for underdog bettors. How about that?
Yeah, nowhere near the total either. 8.5 it gets set at. Yeah. It doesn't even come close to that. Only threatened really what, Jeff? I want to say maybe 1 inning. I believe Cleveland, I think it was the 5th inning, had bases loaded with Encarnacion up, and he lined out the center field. But other than that, wasn't much pressure from either side in this game.
Yeah, Edward Encarnacion is not translated yet for the Indians. Jason Kipnis has been a mess. They have had some issues in this lineup so far, but long season, Donnie. I expect them to be at the end. Welcome into everyone out there listening. It's Friday. Let's go down the little list here and shout everyone out, Donnie. Joel McDonald, D. Patrick, Kyle Honey said, Joe, Vitalis, Matthias from Germany, welcome in.
Yeah.
Tho Marino, Dog Raymond and Tho Marino do not like each other, Donnie Rightside.
Hey, man, that's a chat box on chat box crime. You sit back, you let it happen, let them work through their differences, right?
Yes. Our friend Simba, welcome. Zach Jones, what up, Zach? Mark Thompson, welcome, man. Best Gambler, what's up, pal? Where you been, buddy? Haven't heard from you in a while. Best Gambler's been a listener of mine for a long, long time. Welcome in, my friend. Kyle Honeyset, Bradley, Guan White, our old friend. Welcome in, all of you. Hopefully, everyone enjoys the show tonight. We will have something going on. It's funny. Somebody in here disliked the show, and I'd like to know who it is. I wonder.
Actually, I got to confess, it was me. I didn't like the opening, so I clicked down. What do you want me to do?
Somebody in here disliked the show, and I don't know who it is. We can get to a point, Donnie. We know it's not Zach Jones.
Maybe it is, Jeff. Maybe he wants to be on the air, out in front of everything.
Maybe he's secretly trying to sabotage us. I always mention Kyle Honey's name twice, I feel like. But, Kyle, you're more important. Thank you. White Sox letting me down. Padres came to play. Chill out, man. It's 5-2. We'll be just fine. But, of course, wouldn't be any night without the Padres not hitting when I bet on the other side. I am awful right now in baseball. I can't really say anything different. Everything I pick, the opposite happens. So let's jump into the recap, Donnie. Hey, at least I got
the other one we talked about, Jeff. Seattle, Toronto with let me get the hold on the correct pronunciation. Biagini.
Yes, Biagini.
Dominant tonight. Dominant.
Molto bene from Biagini. Yes, he was fantastic. He looked like I'm trying to think of a young Italian pitcher. I can't remember any, but he looked like that guy. Great job from Biagini tonight. He only went about 5 innings, but the bullpen looked very good. And how about Seattle? I wouldn't have thought they got shut down, but a nice job. The under came through surprisingly. So yeah, if you were on the Mariners here, which this is a tough game. I didn't see many people on this one. It looked like kind of a toss-up. But yeah, nice job by Biagini. Maybe he's their newest fifth starter.
Yeah, I liked Toronto in this one, and Biagini, as we talked about, even as a first 5, I thought was actually the stronger play. I believe it won 3-0 by the 5, but by the time it got around to it, when the lineups come out, the number was gone for me there. I'm not going to lay, a minus 150, and I'm not, me, Jeff, I'm not a big run line guy, so it got away. Turns out it was an easy victory, but just wasn't comfortable laying what it was going to take to win that bet. But hey, hopefully somebody out there tailed it and heard it and said, Toronto might be the right play, and they got on it. Congratulations to you on that one. That was a nice pick.
Yeah, if you had the balls to take Biagini, good job. Somebody taken away from baseball and watching live PD. Come on, man, live PD. I don't
watch that show that much.
Bigger than a $3 bill.
Yeah, how can it be real anyway? Wouldn't it be liability? Wouldn't they be guns?
Now you people know that cops don't treat people like that in real life.
Maybe they do when they're on TV though, right?
You ever notice they never swear, they never do anything wrong? How many times have you gotten pulled over? And well, maybe you haven't, but like when I get pulled over, they swear a lot of the time.
Yeah, like when I get pulled over in the hood, man, I'm just after me,
Yeah, true. What else do we got today in MLB, Donnie?
Yeah, keep it rolling down the list here. Let's go. Any other games? I don't think any other games were final. We had the Philadelphia Phillies and Washington Nationals postponed, Jeff. We're getting a lot of rain here tomorrow as well. I don't know how far south that's going to extend, so I don't know if they might even get another delay, but that's back-to-back delays for Washington. That's kind of an interesting thing to look at here. Baltimore, Kansas City tied at 7-7 heading into the bottom of the 7th. Probably about what you figured on, Jeff. Low-scoring game, 2 decent pitchers on the mound. Looks like the total was set at 8, so I don't know if it's going to get there, but you never know. 4-4, you always head in the extra innings and can pick up that victory. But Bundy's been good. Duffy's been good. It's about what we thought.
Yeah, it is about what we thought. Both these starters, very solid. Obviously, we know the Royals struggling all year to hit the baseball. Baltimore at times has struggled to score runs this year. So, yeah, I think, a game that I think we all thought would be probably pretty low scoring, kind of tight, and 2 really good starters here. Who knows what will happen here? Again, I like the Royals at home. Wouldn't be surprised to see them get the job done here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Oakland, Texas, 2-1. Jesse Hahn pitching a really good game. Cashner holding his own as well. I know the wind, I believe, was blowing out a little bit in that game, so both these pitchers doing their job. Line closed right around -110 on Pinnacle in the favor of Texas. I thought that was a little bit short of a line, but again, always goes back to where to find your value at. You're not getting much value with Oakland on the road. I know Hahn's a good pitcher, but I want Oakland maybe +120, +30 in that situation. I don't mind laying a -110, -117 if it was at home in Oakland, but wasn't interested in that line. But looks like Hahn's doing his job here, 2-1 in the 7th.
Cashner with another nice outing, Donnie. They pull him, though, in the 7th and give it to the bullpen, of course. Bullpen comes in and gives up a run, gives up the lead. So, same old story for the Texas Rangers. But a low-scoring, close game. That's what they want towards the end. We'll see how it goes. Oakland and Jesse Hahn, they might have something there.
Yeah, move on to the Bronx here, Jeff. Yankees and the Astros in this one. Montgomery, McCullers, and it looks like, I don't know, Yankees bats just going south past couple games here, down 5-0 in the bottom of the 9th. Not much going well for the Yanks. It looks like line opened up at -120, closed about -120, so Vegas was pretty strong on that number there, but Yankees just not getting anything going here on the base pass tonight.
Well, they can't beat Houston. I mean, that's been their problem. I mean, last year they struggled with Houston, and this year they're struggling with Houston. It's just they can't beat Houston. And look, I mean, the Yankees are going to lose, games in a row. I'm not going to win every game at home. They're not going to look and score 10 runs a game every night at home. The Yankees struggle against Houston. There's no other way to spin that.
Yeah, keeping it moving here tonight on the docket, Tampa Bay and Boston. Tampa jumped out to a quick 5-0 lead, but now it looks like it's the top of the ninth. It's 5-4. So we'll see if Tampa Bay can close that one out as a nice underdog price, closing at about plus 151 in a couple spots, plus 145. So right around that 150 clip there, if they can hold on, that's a pretty nice victory there.
For Tampa, yeah. Problem is they had a big lead. It shouldn't be this close.
Yeah,
they
5-0.
Yeah. 5-0. Yeah. So definitely that Tampa Bay bullpen sucks. They're going to continue to suck. Alex Cobb. Actually, I'm sorry, their bullpen doesn't. Hasn't sucked tonight. I could have sworn I saw Cobb had a nice outing tonight, but I guess I was looking at the wrong thing. Cobb actually gave up the 4 runs. And the bullpen's actually saved them here. So yeah, weird game. I haven't watched much of this one, so I don't have much comment on it.
No, either do I. I haven't watched. The only thing I've been watching is some score updates there. Pittsburgh and Arizona just underway. 1-0 Pittsburgh. That's Glass now and Corbin on the mound. We'll see how that one ends up. Clayton Kershaw.
Just like we all thought, right? Pittsburgh winning. Just like we all thought.
with a low scoring battle there, of course. Kershaw 5-2. See if he can close that one out, but it's always crazy. Of course, 9.5. Looks like it closed. Some 10s out there on the total. So they're well on their way for another Coors, over the 10 in that spot. But again, with Kershaw and with Coors, I usually lay off that unless it's something a little bit on the side that I like to, put away, but not really interested in that one there.
Yeah, I mean, they're already in the bullpen, Colorado, so that one could go deep. But I saw a stat, Donnie. Kershaw had 57 pitches in the 5th inning. When he has 4 runs or more of support, he is 88-0 in his career. So that's pretty unbelievable. I mean, you would think this game's over, but you never know in Coors.
Yeah, we were trashing Eddie Butler early on for Chicago.
Yet another
nothing full shutout in against maybe the hottest bats in the National League.
You gotta love baseball.
Cardinals. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta love baseball. I mean, Eddie Butler, a guy who has never had success ever in the major league.
And Bryant gets scratched right before the game, so your best hitter goes down. But hey, no sweat, 3-0, ain't no big deal.
Right. And of course, Mike Leake gives up 3 home runs, and he's already out of the game. And he's not already out of the game, but this is baseball. This is the unknown stuff with baseball. You mentioned it. St. Louis just rolling. You're facing Eddie Butler. You're thinking, awesome. I get Eddie Butler tonight. We should score some runs. But like always, the total opposite with baseball. Tough.
Yeah, imagine if you were in that game, you say, St. Louis team total, maybe 4.5, whatever it was. Looks like it's a solid battle. Butler's on the mound. We should get some good contact going here tonight. Nice night in St. Louis. Nothing.
Hey, Donnie. Yeah, that's a good point by Kyle. Maybe you'll be the next one to win your next 88 with a 4-run lead.
Exactly. Like if I'm taking a lead in the first inning of 4 runs, I'm just going to buy out of the bet altogether because I know it's just not going to be my night.
Do the Marlins have the worst pitching staff in baseball? They're pretty close. I mean, their bullpen's bad. It's funny too because their bullpen is bad. You watch them be bad, and they have like a 2.5 ERA out of the bullpen. Maybe they had like 99 straight shutout innings to start April, but I haven't seen it lately. Personally, I think all in all, I think the Phillies have the worst pitching staff in baseball. I mean, they have literally no one. I mean, maybe other than Hellickson. I mean, what do you have there exactly? But yeah, I mean, the Marlins are pretty close. Marlins have now lost 9 of 11, so the Fish are struggling.
Yeah, another game we talked about earlier. I mean, just whether or not you want to bet Matt Harvey is obsolete. You don't know what you're going to get. He was actually decent tonight. They finally pull him out of the game. The Mets tie it up at 2. And as soon as the bullpen comes in, it's the bottom of the 6th. Milwaukee tacks on 3 runs to go up 5-2. Again, not Harvey's fault. Not back say, if you backed Harvey, it was a terrible decision. It was 2-2 when he came out of the game. But again, just that overall scenario, the Mets were a favorite on the road. And they're just bleeding all over each other there. No.
Yeah, it's bad when Eric Sogard is hitting home runs off of you. Matt Harvey just gave up a home run to Eric Sogard, who played most of his career in Oakland, but he's been in AAA Colorado Springs for a while. Yeah. Eric Sogard, we wears like glasses. You would know if you've seen him. But another rough night for the Mets. And look, Matt Harvey, I told people, I don't know how you bet this guy tonight. I really don't. But, shame on you if you bet the Mets because I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, even got a little bit of help back with Duda back in the lineup, Conforto back in the lineup. He thought they would give him a little bit better run support there going up against Garza. But again, in this one, another interesting one. If you were betting quote unquote against Harvey. Didn't do that bad. I mean, only went 5 innings, but after that extended layoff, that's about if you would have told me before the game Harvey's going to go 5 innings, give up 2 runs, I probably would have said, good, that might be the right play to be on. But again, bullpen comes in, just smashes it all up.
Just delivered pizza to the sketchiest trailer park ever. Yeah, I've never been to many trailer parks, but I do find them. I think I've been to one in my life, and they are fairly freaky. I will say. Have you ever been to one, Downey?
Trailer park, sure. I've been to trailer parks.
Yeah, I haven't been to many, but hopefully you are okay, Guan. Get up out of there quick.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got on the docket here. Back on here, Miami and Fultonavich 8-3. What's that?
I was just sorry. I was reading too loud. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Fultonavich Urania 8-3 in that one. Who would have thought? I mean, if you watch Fultonavich's last outing, you might have thought he might have gave up 7 runs in the first inning tonight versus the Marlins, but he settled down, and kudos to them. That's a nice dog victory, closing at about plus 117 at Greek, and looks like about the same plus 113 at 5 times. If you had Atlanta tonight, it's a pretty sharp play by your call. Somebody had him out there.
Yeah, nice job from Michael Fultonavich. Finally gets a win. Nice job. Look, the Marlins suck. I mean, we just talked about them. Urena is a guy that, to me, is probably a fringe starter in the major leagues. One of those guys you bet against. And Atlanta put up some runs tonight. It's a nice job from them. Harvey's now out of the game, Donnie, as expected.
Yeah, no, it was 2-2 when he left the game after the 5th inning, and then the bullpen just gave up 3 straight on top of it. So that was the difference in that one.
I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to say this one time quick. Look, if you don't like each other, take it somewhere else, please. We like everyone here, but this isn't a pissing contest. Go do that somewhere else. We have people on here that want to talk. You guys go duke it out somewhere else.
Detroit, LAA, the Angels 0-0 bottom of the first inning. Nice catch there by Austin Romine there in center field. And looks like they're going to go clear through the first at 0-0, heading to the second. And we have Cincinnati and San Francisco just underway there out in the Bay Area. Kind of interested to see how that one turns out there. Hunter Pence sat in that one. I was almost leaning towards maybe going on a total play in that one or a team total play, but backed away in that situation. Even with the wind blowing out, didn't seem like it was going to be too advantageous, so to speak. But it looks like a lot of unders across the board today if you're betting baseball out there.
Yeah, it looks like a lot on. You're right about that. And, we talked about the San Francisco game. I mean, it's kind of getting tough when people are laying 150 with Johnny Cueto and the Giants. Just not something I would do. I've said it before. I like Johnny Cueto, but it's not something I would want to do. Just can't lay 150. How have the Mets gotten so bad so fast? I mean, they've never really been that good. I mean, I know they went to the World Series one year, but they haven't been good.
Injuries.
Yeah. I mean, they put their whole stock into David Wright. That never really worked out. They've just been a middling team. I mean, that's just what they are. And they've never been really that good. I mean, even look at the year they went to the World Series. I mean, they weren't a great offensive squad. They just had great pitching. I mean, they continue to have trouble with injuries, and that's kind of been the growing MO with them. But Donnie, before we get to Joe Duffy, I don't know how much of this NBA game you've watched, but any thoughts on it?
Yes. The only thought I have is looks like looking at the score, it's 80-79. But again, I'm just one of those guys just pushing the fast forward key till we get to the main event with Golden State and Cleveland. So it's getting close. It's getting closer there. We'll have some fun with that.
Yeah. If it looks like the public got it right easily with the under in this game. The total opened 216. It got all the way bet down to about 214. So if you had the under, good play by you. Yep. It looks like, Donnie, I wanted to point this out. I don't know if you remember this guy.
What's that?
He played for the Baltimore Orioles and the Angels. Looks like a guy that it might be around your time period. I don't remember this guy. Doug DeCinzis, hanging out with Bobby Axelrod a little too much. Former All-Star MLB player, was convicted of insider trading, Donnie.
I would like to get some insider trading angles, man. That looks like how you can make some money, get a little hush money on the side, build it, make some inroads. That's the way to do it. My dad and I talk
about that all the time. He's like, do you know anyone with any companies? He's like, I'm like, no, I don't, Dad, but I'll look around.
Even before the merger, yes.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Nigerian currency? But But interesting story there. Rolando McClain, it looks like he was arrested as well. Is that correct, Donnie? It looks like
Who was
I'm seeing
that?
here. Rolando McClain, I believe, arrested on drug and firearm charges
Yeah, a
in
lot going on the
Alabama.
blotter today. How about that?
Yeah, police.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Please stop this car. I love how they always say drug and firearm charges. Let's read into what really happened. He was pulled over after window tint violations. An officer approached the car. He smelled
Oh,
marijuana.
weed. Yep,
He found marijuana and a gun. So all in all, not really that big a deal.
Yeah, on the chat box there, Tom Marino, Mets ownership never investing in anything. They got killed with the Madoff issues. That is true. I mean, a New York team flush with cash. If Bernie Madoff never happened, the Mets might be stacked to the gills and rolling everybody, but they're broke. They're flat out broke. And as a Phillies fan, I love it.
So all you people that lose money on them, make sure to send Bernie a card. He's down at Buechner FC, I believe. You can correspond with him and tell him how much you hate him.
Wait, what's that?
You can correspond with him and tell him how much you hate him. Because he ruined your team. So all you Mets fans, you have a out there.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to get our guest here the link, Donnie, if I can find him.
Yeah. Looks like a good NBA game. I might have to turn the NBA game on, Jeff. We got 82-82. Let me put that bad boy up on the docket for us here. I know it's by the time Joe gets on and we talk NBA Finals, they'll probably still be going on in the fourth quarter, even though there's only 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, we will talk Warriors Spurs mostly. And I'm looking forward to it because obviously, the writing's on the wall. I mean, we all know about the Warriors. But, I want to get Joe's opinion. Obviously, Joe and I and you, Donnie, we've talked about the NBA a little bit. He's come on, broke down some of these series. Joe's always had a good read on the NBA, so we'll look forward to talking to him. Matt Harvey still mourning over his loss, Adriana Lima. Yes, we talked about that. BMOC, your thoughts on Harden at the club the other night? The team loses 38 points to the Spurs. If you have money on the Rockets and you see him partying, what are your thoughts?
It's just what they do in the NBA. It's just nothing.
I mean, listen, I don't really – the whole, at a club thing. So he was at a club the night before? Is that –
No, he went to the club after the game.
Game's over. What are you going to do? You going to cry in your room the whole night?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the NBA MO. They just they have millions and they're just looking to get to the club. Same thing when you hear the Golden State Warriors, God damn it, we got to go to Utah. What are we going to do in between games? That's what they do.
I guess I don't really understand what is he supposed to do?
One would think that, if he was banged up and supposedly had a concussion and maybe wasn't right, that, the night of the game, maybe you clean out your locker, you go home, crack a couple beers in your house, fall asleep, and you say, I got the entire summer to party, as opposed to I went out and sucked, but I still have enough energy to throw some gear on and hit the club till about 4 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah,
not the best look. I agree with it, but what are you going to do?
It's not. Yeah, no, I hear you. But at the end of the day, what can you do? If you had if you had the Rockets last night, well, sorry.
That was terrible. What is a 39-point loss, favored by 8 points in an elimination game where the other team's best player sat? It was unbelievable. Because if you watch the Harden highlights, people were posting all of is this guy point shaving? Because he looked like he didn't give a damn about anything.
Yeah, he didn't take a shot until the second quarter. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, that's pathetic. You lose by 39 points without the best player on the other team against a team that, look, is not they're not the Warriors. You can understand the Warriors, but the Spurs? Come on. Joe Duffy, welcome in.
Thank you, Jeff. We have so many places we communicate. I didn't really know where to look for my message, but glad we connected.
Yeah, Joe, you made a funny point. Joe, Donnie mentioned I obviously included him in the description of the show tonight, and he tweeted out, looking forward to it. Reminds me of the Score Phone days, on air late while games going on. Joe, really quick, just for all the, the newer guys out there, what's the Score Phone?
Yeah, that is true. I got my start in this business when I was in college, which, as you can see by my gray beard, was a long time ago. I worked while I was in college in about 1986. I worked for the old 976 score phones. Now, people my age or older, if you're at least like 45 or so, you might remember when ESPN came out, and I'm surprised how many people still remember this. They used to do a commercial with these cheerleaders that would go 900-976-1313. Well, that was actually us at Dial Sports. And we used to do the old 976 score phones. And eventually, after I graduated college, I came to Atlanta to do the score phones. But people would call before the internet. That was the place where gamblers would go to get their scores. They would dial either a 976 number in the 80s, and then we did free score phones in the 90s and through, the early part of this century. That's where people used to get their scores. And then we would do the daytime programming where we would give gambling previews, odds before you could get them on the internet, etc. So yeah, a lot of these young people are like, what are the score phones? But I had the honor of being featured in an ESPN article. David Purdom did a feature on the score phones a couple of years ago, and it was nice talking to him about those days.
So, I remember, just to cut in there, I remember that, Joe, going back even in the early 2000s. I can't remember. It was like something wins, I believe it was. And wherever we were on vacation, we didn't have, even with internet, it was a lot faster just to call it in. You would say the team name and it would literally be like bottom of the first inning, 2-1. And you hear like a crack of the bat. But even back going further there, Joe, growing up in the late 80s and early 90s before the internet, I thought the coolest thing ever was they used to have the ads, especially like Sports Illustrated and Sport Magazine, if anybody remembers those, of the getting the pager where they would page you the scores. I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was a teenager.
I agree. I got those pagers. We got them through work. And when I was out walking, I used to use, I thought that was high tech. And then, of course, we've got the smartphones now. But those sports pagers were awesome. And yeah, at least we did have some competition. But the last score phone I worked for, we were toll free, and it was 866 free. 866 was our number.
Now, Joe, can I still get my scores tonight if I call in to that, or?
No, I don't think you could do that. No, those things are long gone, but that's okay. It worked out well for me. Now I work 100% by myself. Don't have to answer to anyone except, when I go in a slump, which does happen occasionally. Then I got to answer to my clients. But no, even I wouldn't call the score phones anymore if they were still around.
87-82, a minute 34 left. Supposedly Isaiah Thomas is on a run right now. They are up 5, looking to close out the Washington Wizards tonight, 87-82 late in that game. Joe, before we get into the NBA and some of the previews we're looking at talking about, and by the way, a little update in MLB, Denard Span home run, Giants up 1-0, bottom one in that one. Another run for the Brewers, 6-2 Brewers in the 6th inning, yet another run for them. St. Louis, Donnie's on the board. They've scored against Eddie Butler, or should I say Eddie Ryan.
Time to have a party in that when they finally get through. Yeah.
Is this Nolan Ryan's son or something? Boston and Tampa Bay, that score's still 5-4. We have some base runners for the Detroit Tigers in.
Bases loaded, nobody out, top second. We'll see what happens.
There you go, Donnie.
Joe, hey guys, this is the part that reminds me of the score phone. When I watch you guys and you do these, this is exactly what we used to do on the score phone, although our time was more limited because it went into a sophisticated answer machine. But this is exactly what I was talking about. It now, it makes me feel younger.
It's kind of funny you say that because Jeff gets on me because now I have a late game tonight as my play, which is the over in the Detroit game. So there's no pressure in like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth inning. But a lot of times, Joe, we come on right at 10 o'clock where the 7 o'clock games are just finishing up. And it's clear when I'm on a game that's close because I can't even look at the camera. I can't concentrate. Big Man's opening up the show. He's yelling at me behind the scenes. Just the way I am, just as a gambler. I get nervous. You know what it is?
No, it's true. And it was a double-edged sword, especially during the NFL where it's great. You had all the games in front of you, but you still wanted to not give the score phone updates, although we had it down pat where we would look and give the live updates, etc. So, I know exactly what you mean, Donnie.
We've talked about this before, Joe. Someone's referencing to your setup there with the 7,000 laptops and iPads behind you. People like your setup there. It is a nice setup, I have to admit. Donnie and you have nice setups. I'm working on my own setup of myself here. I look like I look unprofessional here. Joe, before we get into NBA, I got to ask you, how have you been doing in NBA or MLB? I'm sorry. And who surprised you so far? Who you been betting on? Who do you like? What's worked for you?
Yeah, how have I been doing in the MLB? Look, I've been in this business a long time. I can't say that it's my absolute greatest start. It's been a little streaky. You know, you go on these winning streaks and you think you're completely out of any slumps, and then I have a so-so day. As far as the teams that I'm kind of looking at, and the truth is, I use that SDQL language, the sports database language, so it's really looking at it for me. But in the past, I've always been a big regression of the mean guy, and now I have some systems stored in the computer where, as a general rule of thumb, the teams that are doing well now, I look for them to kind of be the go-against teams, and the teams that are doing poorly, I look for them to really be pretty good from this point on. So, you know, Colorado, Baltimore, Houston, and the Yankees have been very good. Some people might argue, especially because the Yankees are a public team, that they're almost destined to be a go-against. And, you know, teams that are doing poorly in the back pocket, San Fran, Toronto, the Cubs, and Kansas City. Now, I have a couple asterisks next to the Cubs because, you know, I always believe in the hangover theory, and if there's any team that's almost destined to have a hangover and be a little overvalued this year, it's the Cubs. So I'm going to, you know, when my database says go with the Cubs because of your regression of the mean angles, I may hesitate a little bit, but for the most part, it's just the teams that are doing well, I look for them to be the go against teams, and the teams that are doing poorly, I look for them to be the go with teams. Now, I also like to combine it with record in the computer. So the computer will spit out some of the more undervalued and overvalued teams based on some of the systems I have saved.
Yeah, and you talked about like the Colorado Rockies, who you know, obviously are going to regress pretty much back to normal with that sandbox ballpark they play in, and you know, that pitching staff. I mean, we were posed a question earlier about some of the worst pitching staffs from a sheer name basis. What do you have in that pitching staff? But you know, they pieced it together so far. But yeah, I mean, you have to think, you know, the Yankees may not be as good as they've been so far, and you know, the Cubs will obviously play much better. Joe, I have to ask you quickly one other MLB question. There was a lot of uproar this week here at SBR about a comment I made that a lot of people didn't like. Okay. And it was a little bit misunderstood, so I'm going to say what I said, and I want to hear your opinion on it. We were talking on the roundtable, a couple of us, about the Giants, and I mentioned, you know, they don't have a superstar player on their team, and Donnie Rightside made it a point to say, whoa, what are you talking about? They have a Hall of Famer and Buster Posey, and I thought to myself, baseball, I don't think of Buster Posey. Obviously, there's only 6 catchers in the Hall of Fame. Right now, is Buster Posey a Hall of Famer to you?
I definitely think he is a Hall of Famer. He's supposedly one of these intangible guys. I'm not as big into the, you know, WAR stats as some people are, but I know that he's always been considered one of the great leaders, kind of the, you know, the Mark Messier of baseball. So I think because of the quote unquote intangibles, and he's supposedly such a great leader, he most likely is. And he's, you know, he's an all around player. But from a handicapping standpoint, is he the true superstar, you know, that's going to, you know, make a huge difference in the line when he's in and out? I don't know. So we're, you know, it's almost a double-edged sword. From a handicapping standpoint, he may or may not be, but I think because he's considered such a great leader, he's probably a guy that would go into the Hall of Fame.
There you go. Plus, he has the championship, so that's obviously important. We are tied up. Actually, we're tied up 89-89. 28 seconds left down in Washington.
Good one.
Going to be a good finish here in the nation's capital. Isaiah Thomas 27. Archie Bradley, Avery Bradley with 27. Bradley Beal with a nice game, 33. So Donnie Wright said you have to keep us posted on what's going on there. Joe, let's get into
timeout. 14 seconds to go. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Boston has the ball tied at 89.
Well, maybe we'll get your play-by-play. You can put on your Brett Nussberger pad here.
They should be back. They should be back in action, Jeff, in about 45 minutes. So we got some time.
Look at Joe's picture there. That's pretty funny, isn't it? Joe, where'd you go? Are you there? We lost him. All we see is his face.
Hey, we got the face there, though. And he's
all right. You know what happened? I got disconnected, and then I had to reconnect my microphone in my. I
was going to say, all we saw is that picture of you. That we were wondering what happened.
I don't know. But and on the, you know, we're talking about my technical setup. I guess this is kind of boring, but my HOA guy told me today we're going to be upgrading the internet in the neighborhood. So hopefully this will now, although I have a pretty good connection, so it may or may not be on my end.
Those are always good words to hear. Hey, we're going to upgrade the internet. That's always something that you always say, wow, I can't wait for that. Looking forward to it.
Hopefully getting the gig speed or maybe 2 gig. I don't know.
Oh, good. Very good. So, Donnie, do you want to do a little play-by-play here? Or
Still, yeah, I told you we have about 45 minutes by the time they get out of
I almost want to finish baseball before we get into any basketball. Tonight's Cubs pitcher, Eddie Butler, had a rough start to his career via Colorado, but he was acquired in an offseason trade. He's been lighting it up through AAA. Yeah, it's AAA, Seth. I mean, who cares? I mean, it's big.
Eddie had a good game.
But Eddie has pitched well. Nice job there. Yes, Tarek, we're aware. Jeff can't stand Buster Posey. We've made that clear. Donnie, what do we have going on?
Still coming out of the timeout, so we probably got another 30 minutes before they start up play again.
Looks like the Angels are going to somehow not.
Yeah, they got out of it. How about that? I mean, is that good for an over-under for you? Bases loaded, nobody out, no runs. Oh man,
gotta love it. Gotta love it. Bases loaded, no outs, and of course Arizona takes the lead 3-1. Nice job, Diamondbacks. They are jumping on Tyler Glass
absolutely
early. Joe, I hate to do this, but we just want to kind of get through this game because we know someone's going to interrupt us while we're doing it. Here they go, Donnie. Go ahead.
Yep. Looks like Horford's going to take a jumper from the point, banks it in off the rack, which was a lucky shot. I don't even think he was looking for the bank shot.
Timeout or
it's
no?
about a 17-footer timeout. So we got 45 minutes to go before they get back in play.
All right. Well, just update us. We'll see what happens. Joe Duffy here. We got the Warriors facing the before we get to that, we were talking about James Harden before you got on the air. Obviously a hideous effort last night from the Houston Rockets. But look, when you're dependent on the three, things can happen like that. But just an overall performance of just not showing up last night. What happened with James Harden?
And remember in the past that Harden was criticized for not playing very good defense in the postseason. So, Harden is an enigma. He does seem to become small in these big games. And, it was quite bizarre. And we all know that, afterwards that he was out partying with Bruce or whatever, Jenner's daughter, whatever, Caitlyn Jenner's daughter or whatever the heck it was. I think his legacy between some of the bad defense he's played in previous years and the fact he didn't show up in the elimination. And look, this is a guy who you want to say have the ball. And I think it was, he had like one shot the first 10 minutes or something like that. It was crazy. But when your back's against the wall, you want your superstar to be wanting the ball. And that was not the case. So I understand how the entire world's trying to figure out where he was last night. We know where he was after the game, and maybe that's where his head was during the game.
Multiple witnesses obviously say he was at the strip club with Kylie Jenner and several other rappers and things like that. But hey, I mean, I guess what are you going to do? Doesn't have to go to work the next day. So, game over. Quick question here, Joe.
Joe. 3 ball by Washington. 3 seconds to go. 92-91.
Wow. Who hit it?
John Wall, I believe.
Wow. Yeah. That will be. I bet the crowd's going wild. I'm sure.
Crowd's going wild. There's 3.5 seconds left. They're going to timeout. I'll update you in 45 minutes. Go ahead.
Joe, we have a question here for you. Can you please ask Joe Duffy when he had the juice to live the dream? That's my goal in life.
When I had the juice to live the dream out, is he talking about my big muscular build? I don't know. I mean, the juice, occasionally I pay it, but I don't know. You're going to have to dumb it down. I'm 51 years old. I don't know if I'm.
He means like, when did you decide to become a handicapper?
Oh, that goes kind of back to my. That's almost a long story. I could ramble on about that. The guy who became.
Yeah, Joe, we don't have 3 hours.
I know. The guy who was my first boss ever in this industry. A couple of you Philadelphians my age and older might know a guy by the name of Mickey Charles. I used to listen to him on the radio, and on weekends he did a handicapping show, and I was fascinated with handicapping more so than gambling. See, that's people. I'm not a degenerate gambler. I'm a degenerate handicapper. And then went to school for broadcasting, and then there was an opening for a score phone announcer, and I got the job working for Mickey's company, Dial Sports, and the rest was history.
Mickey Charles, interesting. Did he take his name from Mickey Mantle, or?
Yes, he did. He did. His real name is Mickey Tucker, and there's some interesting stuff. Phil Mushnick about 25 years ago, wrote an interesting article about him. But yeah, Mickey's a legend in this industry, and yeah, he named himself that. That is very good, Jeff. Yeah, he named himself after Mickey Charles Mantle, but Charles Tucker is his real name.
Very good. Warriors minus 1060, the Spurs plus 680. Joe, it's the Western Conference Finals, and look, I mean, is anyone surprised the Spurs are here? I mean,
no.
I'm not sure why you would be at this point. I mean, people underestimate this team, and we talk about Tony Parker, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's Patty Mills. Is it much different? You might even getting an upgrade there at this point in his career. Kawhi, obviously, his status, obviously with some time off here, a couple days at least. I would expect him to be back, but Joe, you look at this series, obviously, with the line, there isn't much hope that, or any, maybe even hope that they can win a game in this series.
Yeah.
I do think it is a little ridiculous to say they'll sweep the Spurs. I still think the Spurs have heart, and they have the ability to win a game here, especially with the fact that they can win the battle of the boards. They can win the battle in the paint. And, obviously it's going to be tough to guard, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But, you have some X factors. You have the #1 defensive efficiency team in the league.
Yep.
Can you really outsmart Greg Popovich for 4 straight games? I just don't think. Obviously, it's probably going to be Warriors in 5 here, if you ask me. But can the Spurs win a game? I think they can, can't they?
Yeah, I do think that Golden State will win it in 5, and for a lot of the reasons you said. And I saw an interesting quote on Twitter. I follow my Division II alma mater's coach, and I'm not so sure that 28-year-old Kent McBride's going to like being quoted on a gambling show. But when he was watching the game last night, he said culture trumps strategy, and he was talking about, I believe he meant the Spurs have a culture of winning. Of course, obviously the Warriors do too. They won it 2 years ago. They won it more recently, and then last year they came within 1 win of being the greatest team of all time. So it's not like the Spurs have a big advantage over Golden State, but at least the fact that Popovich has been there, I do think, again, I'll use that word, the intangible, Tony Parker having been there, done that, his injury is going to hurt them, because I think that's the only chance that the Spurs really have, is the fact that they've got veterans. They have one of the greatest coaches of all time. Look, Mike Brown, he's actually got a win. I think he's 47-36 as a head coach in the playoffs. That's straight up. And they don't even count. That's the NBA official record. They don't even count when he's filling in for Steve Kerr. So, he's won some games too. But the only advantage the Spurs have is that they've got one of the great coaches of all time. And with Tony Parker on the bench, it's not like, and of course, Tim Duncan's long retired. Well, not long retired, but he's retired. It's not like they even have the guys who are experienced at winning the rings. But I just think Popovich is the only hope they really have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to need an X factor. You need Jonathan Simmons to hit some big shots for you. You're going to need really, literally everything to happen for them to have any sort of chance in this series. Donnie, right side, what are your thoughts on this series?
The Golden State series coming up next, the Western Conference Finals.
Donnie's asleep. He doesn't even care about the NBA.
Yeah, I have the fast forward. I was hoping it would get to Golden State Cleveland already, and then I could chime in with some good stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
Donnie continues delaying that he doesn't want to talk. How about that, Donnie? Brandon Drury, 3-run shot. I have him on my fantasy team. What a pickup by the big man.
What's the score now on that one, big man?
7-1 Arizona. They get the big – I actually might win a game tonight, Donnie. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. But I'm sure, that knock will come to the door and the door will be shut 8-7 Pittsburgh somehow. But I'm still looking up James Harden at the strip club with Kylie Jenner. I want to see some pictures here. Joe, let me ask you a question. Would you be give me when's this series end? 5, 6?
Yeah, I do think it will be 5. I don't know if I would go so far. I can't remember the adjective you used, but I think you may have said it would be ridiculous. I think Golden State could sweep. Look, I don't think it'd be ridiculous. I think Golden State could go 16-0, although, maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe you'll have me on to talk about their inevitable matchup with the Cavs, whether or not they can sweep Cleveland, LeBron James, whether they can sweep him, that remains to be seen. But, I think it goes a maximum of 5.
Yeah, that's about where I had it as well. JT, I think his name is asking for a winner tonight. JP, the Celtics, I would go with tonight.
Yep, that's what I gave him. Yes, correct.
Good call. Maybe take the Twins, parlay that with the Celtics. Should be good to go there. So what? We're going to a game 7 here in Washington.
I like it. Yeah, good.
A nice win for the Wizards. I mean, you're down 5. Yeah. I remember mentioning they're down 5 with a minute 45 to go. A nice little comeback there, and John Wall. John Wall, very underrated player. I think.
You think he's underrated? I think.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I just it seemed like never hear his name a lot. I don't know why, but he's getting obviously aptly named. Even in this series, all we hear is Isaiah Thomas, and clearly, I mean, a lot of reasons why he's fantastic as well. But John Wall, Bradley Beal, nice little tandem down there.
Yeah, sure.
Joe, before we let you go, I think we've talked to you about this before, but just before we go, who's the number 1 pick in the draft for you?
The number 1 pick in the NBA draft, probably the guy from Washington.
Fultz?
Yeah, Fultz. He's most likely from everything I've read, that he's probably considered the best upside, but it will be an interesting draft. But yeah, I do think that Fultz is most likely the top pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah, several teams come out and said today that they do not have issues with LeVar Ball, and he won't be in their game plan when drafting Lonzo Ball. But, I got to ask you, Joe, if you were a billionaire, you're Bill Gates, and you needed a new pair of sneakers, would you buy the LeVar Ball sneakers?
Yeah, that is a crazy man. And unfortunately, I do think, he's clearly not doing any of his sons favors with that. I don't know if he's the worst sports parent ever. There have been some pretty bad sports parents like, Todd Marinovich's dad and some other ones, or that NHL player whose parents were stealing from him. But as far as being an attention whore, it's terrible. No, I would not. Actually, I've never really bought sneakers based on whether they were endorsed. Even when I was a kid and wanted to be a professional athlete, that the celebrity endorsements never did much for me. And not that LeVar is a celebrity by any.
What would you do, Joe? You have a daughter, right?
Yes.
Donnie, you have a daughter.
Yes, I do. Correct.
Eventually, they'll bring home a male someday, probably. What would you do if he was the father-in-law of your daughter?
I thought you were going to say, what if the came, or the boyfriend came over and was wearing Big Baller brand? Or
something? Like what if your daughter brought home a guy and that was how their dad was?
Yeah, that's sad, because I guess at the wedding he would be trying to steal all the attention. So probably
I would make him pay for the wedding, though. At least that would be nice.
That's true. That's true. I guess he could certainly pay for it for sure. But I haven't been in a fight since high school. But I think somebody trying to steal attention from my daughter at the wedding, I probably would get into my first fight since high school, and I'd probably lose. He's a big guy.
Well, put it this way, according to, and this was last Friday numbers, I don't know what the numbers are now. According to reports, they sold 6,000 pairs in like the first couple of days of these sneaker pre-sale wise. That's $3 million about.
Where did you see that one at? All I saw was everybody debunking it, saying they didn't sell that many at all.
Yeah, I heard it from a shoe source of mine. So again, that it could be debunked probably.
Sure.
But still. Listen, I'm a big sneaker guy, Donnie. We've talked about that. I can buy a pair of Yeezys for $700 if I really wanted, and Yeezys are way more popular than the bar sneakers. I've never spent more than like $400 on a pair of sneakers, but for me, if I'm going to spend $450, $500, I'm going to get Jordans, a couple pair of Jordans or something like that. The sneakers aren't even good looking; they don't even look nice. So yeah, I don't get it. But Joe Duffy, as always, we appreciate you coming on the show. I have to ask before we let you go, and we will have you back for the NBA Finals as well. Plenty of NFL coming in the summer. 2 questions for you, Joe. First, what's your big play in WNBA tomorrow? And second,
I've been trying the SQ, the language that I use, they do have WNBA database, although it's limited. I'm actually trying to find some killer WNBA angles. I couldn't name more than 4 or 5 players in the league, but I do want to get to that. And I do not have a WNBA lock for tomorrow, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't either. I have had a couple in the past, but none for me tomorrow. Also, Joe, what did you eat today that you can talk to us about? You're a big food guy.
I know. I was ready for the question this time. I had a couple things. I'm a big fan. There's a local purveyor of meats, Patak's, P-A-T-A-K. So I wound up making myself a Patak's bologna and egg breakfast. And then I had their sort of made my own kind of free base pastrami Reuben using their meats, the Patak's meats.
Sounds very delicatessen, very good. Sound. You know, Donnie, I watched the episode of Billions today when at the end of one of the episodes when Chuck's at the delicatessen just feeding his face after.
Yeah, he's not when he's not supposed to be, right? Yes.
Joe, if you watch Billions, Joe?
I do not. No, sir.
Okay, you should. Donnie turned me on to it. Very good show on Showtime. But yes, I am a delicatessen man. Joe, are you? I've mentioned to you, I'm a Cuban sandwich guy. I eat them fairly all the time. Best burger in Atlanta, Joe. Quick.
The best burger, ironically enough, got a place that's been around for 12 years called Oak Street Cafe. They're in metropolitan Atlanta. They're being sold. The new owner is going to keep the menu, but he's going to open a big Scotch and whiskey bar there. A place called Bocado is widely thought of as one of the best. They have one in Atlanta, another one here in the suburbs. And I'm a big Cuban sandwich fan. And of course, you know, you guys are very close to Herschel's Delicatessen in the Reading Terminal, which is a great place to get a corned beef sandwich or pastrami.
Yeah, I'm a delicatessen man always. I'm a big Donnie's a hoagie man. We all know that.
Absolutely, man.
Donnie, you need to tell the people you own hoagie spots.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it going up and down, left and right, but the Reading Terminal, I mean, the one thing that we're blessed with in the Northeast corridor is we can get a good slice of pizza and a damn good sandwich, and I can live with that.
Yeah, when I'm visiting my parents, I'll treat you to the Kibitz Room over in Cherry Hill. Phenomenal.
Right over by 561, and I guess in that Voorhees area.
Springfield Road, and
We've talked about, Joe, the next time you're around, we do have to link up. Maybe we'll do a live show. Joe Duffy, a good man, and we look forward to talking with him again. Joe, thanks for coming on tonight, and leave us or something. Give us a plug for your website.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jeff and Donnie. Always great. Offshoreinsiders.com. Hopefully, you know, my programmer, I got to track him down. We're going to make the site look a little nicer, more modern, but great picks. I've been picking professionally since 1988. Visit me at offshoreinsiders.com. And I'll tell you what, send me an email and I'll give them a Donnie and Jeff discount.
Very good. You heard it here first. You like Joe Duffy's work, check him out. Offshoreinsiders.com. He's been around since the Score Phone days. He's knows a lot about this business, and one of the few people I look for information from. Great guy, good people. Go over to offshoreinsiders.com if you're looking for a good service, and he'll give you a discount if you listen to our show. So, Joe, thank you again. Go get your hands on a nice pastrami sandwich, and we will talk to you next time. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Joe. Take care, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, let's see. Where am I? He's got to get off. He doesn't know how to.
That's my man right there.
That's classic right there. Good stuff. Anyone have inside info on whether Mike Brenner was really cut loose or is that a hoax?
We're 5,000 miles from the situation, so
I do. From what I understand, I do believe he will not be on. From what I understand, I'm not in the liberty to give that information out. But look, he's not on. It is what it is. Vig, I know you're a big odds couple guy, so I think Zach kind of mentioned that. It's not my Donnie. We don't make the big bucks. We don't make those decisions. Update down in Los Angeles, Donnie. Interesting development here. Another bases loaded situation. 1-0 Angels. Can they?
I'm watching. So far in this game, if we want to have a count, at least we have one run in, but there's been bases loaded with 0 outs 4 straight times so far, and there's been 4 outs and no runs. So there's 2 outs left to try to get a run, but can we make the back-to-back bases loaded, 0 outs, and no runs happen? Let's see if we can do it.
Well, we got plenty of time left. So yeah, let's finish the show up, Donnie. Donnie, do you have anything tonight?
No, I'm just watching this game. Hopefully it finishes in my direction, but I do not have much. We have a big show tomorrow, though. Andreas Hale's going to be on the show breaking down some UFC with us tomorrow on the right side of campus, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a good one because, as you know, we're going to rip right through that baseball card, and hopefully we can find some mysterious situations there as Simons.
Plenty of stuff going on. Joanna Jurcevic, Stipe Miocic, plenty. Frankie Edgar, plenty going on in the UFC card tomorrow night. Obviously, like Donnie said, Andreas Hale will join us again to break that down on the right side of campus. We'll also go over the baseball card and everything else going on in the world of sports. Donnie, before we go, I do want to take care of some business here. First things first, people are asking about soccer. I will have that out on Twitter a little bit later. I will throw out a play right now. I'm on English Premier League, Middlesbrough and Southampton under 2.5. Both these teams right now are really struggling to score goals. Middlesbrough's already relegated, Donnie, the dreaded relegation. They're at home. They've actually been a very good defensive side. Get this, Donnie. They're the worst team, one of the worst teams in the Premier League. However, 10 teams that have given up more goals than Middlesbrough. So they bend but don't break. They're a slow-scoring team. Same with Southampton. They're not very they're very drabby as well. I've had trouble scoring goals with a very good goalkeeper. So I think we see a low-scoring game here. I think at most we see 2 goals. For me, I'll go under, but I will have other plays as well going out. Look for those later. Donnie, today, Celtic won again. They have not lost this year. 40 games they have not lost. By the way, Celtic, a very good team in the Scottish Premiership. That doesn't happen very often, Donnie. Pretty amazing. Glad to see Donner Mafia is back. Yes, Donner is back. Greg is back. So glad to see him posting plays again. Also, Donnie, Monday evening, we have an interesting guest. I'm excited about it. For anyone that's a boxing fan or just someone that enjoys sports, they enjoy the sweet science. Al Bernstein's going to join us.
I like that.
I'm looking forward to it. I talked to Al today on the phone. We had a nice conversation. I've been a fan of Al's for a long time. He's going to join us Monday night. We'll talk Canelo, Triple G. We'll talk Keith Thurman. We'll talk Vladimir Klitschko and what his future is going to be like. We'll talk Cesar Chavez and Canelo, all sorts of things.
Yeah, what's going to be interesting with that, Jeff, too, is I'm really looking forward to it because I like guys like that in the industry. If you see Al Bernstein, I mean, a very upbeat guy, very fun. And Jeff, reached out to him behind the scenes, and he was very personable. So even shouted us out, Jeff, with a retweet tonight of the show. It's going to be a lot of fun when he comes on because I'm interested in knowing, again, Jeff, a lot of people don't know. Atlantic City, for a while, was the fight capital of the world with Mike Tyson. Al's going to take us all through that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Al's a cool guy. He was very receptive to the offer, and I appreciate him taking some time to come on, and it'll be fun for sure. So he's a boxing Hall of Famer, Donnie. So how about that? We have 2-0, Donnie Angels.
Yes, and actually it was a ground ball that they called the guy out at first. He's now safe, so it's bases loaded again. Nobody out, or excuse me, 1 out. 2-0. So if somebody could just give me a base hit here, that's all I'm asking for. Is that too hard to ask to end the show?
I agree with you, Donnie. It looks like the challenge is coming here. What's going on with that?
It's safe. Yeah, they called him out, but he was safe. So top of the lineup. Hopefully Trout can get up, or with the bases juiced here. We don't have a double play right here, and hopefully we can do some damage. Let's see what happens.
You guys are on a roll. Keep it up with these guys. Thank you, my friend. Look. We're just trying to make it in life. Yeah. That's all we're trying to do here. We come on here. We love doing this. It's kind of our therapy. And I do want to thank Joe. Joe is a great guest. I look forward to talking to Joe because he's just it's fun. We laugh. We talk about whatever.
Real guest. I love real guests like that. I mean, when you talk to somebody like that who's in the same seat as you see, it's a Friday night. He's come on late night, talk some shop with us. Go over some eating stuff, and he's always a nice guy situation. What I mean by that is you see him on Twitter. If you meet him and talk to him, he's the same guy. There's no shtick there with Joe.
Yeah, and he's been around a long time. He's, I've mentioned him before. He's a guy that I've followed for a long, long, long time. So I'm guessing nothing good happened, Donnie.
Not double play. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be tonight. So
it's 2-0, Donnie. We'll chip away. It's been bad, but it's all good. Let's wrap it up here. Tyler, where are your picks documented? Donnie, do you want to answer this question for Tyler?
Handicapperswatchdog.com. Every single pick I have is documented.
No, he answered for me. Can you answer?
Oh, I guess in your shoebox at home with your money. I don't know.
Yes. Here's the thing, Tyler. It doesn't matter where my play is documented because you're not a customer of mine, and I don't actively look for customers, so I don't need a document for you. So if you want to know, you can come ask me. I don't need to tell you what I'm doing because I don't actively look for customers. So go bother someone that actually does scam people. Bring on Paul Howard. We're trying to. I want to talk to Paul. I've always been interested to debate with Paul Howard. BMOC to Costa Rica, calling right now for Odds Couple. You were surrounded by Latin bitches. Roberts, you're saying some interesting things tonight, my friend. Yeah, by the way, last night, Donna, we were not on. I had a emergency come up, and I want to shout out to my boy. He was released last night. I had to go pick him up. Shout out to my boy G. He's out. I'm looking forward to spending some time with him, Donnie. I've talked to you about that, my boy. Bring Holly Hendricks on. Yeah, you've asked several times. We're not bringing a porn star on the show. Tyler, I don't document Tyler. I'm not in this to make $100,000 betting on sports and touting my service. I'm more of a content kind of guy. I have a couple guys that follow my service, and we make some money together, but I'm on here every day. People know where I'm at if they want to find me. Don, anything else tonight?
No, let's close it down.
Benfica. Follow what this guy says. Yeah, Portuguese league. Benfica wins tomorrow. There you go.
Thanks, fellas. Tune in tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Right side of campus.